Hello, Sierra students. Welcome back to the second semester of the 2016-2017 school year. For 7th graders, you now have a semester under your belt and kind of have an idea of how we do things here at Sierra, what we expect and what you can and can't do. For 8th graders, you're one semester away from the next level. So in both situations, I think it's pretty exciting from both perspectives. Here in the second semester, we've already talked about a lot of things that we expect from you from the school at this point. So we're going to go over a few specifics, go over what the students here had to say about behavior at Sierra, and then hear from a few of the students as well as far as what we think is going well and what areas that we think we can improve in. So last fall, we asked all of you to take a survey about how you would rate behavior here at Sierra in the 5 different areas of the school that we chose, which was the hallway, the bus, locker room, lunchroom, and classroom. As you can see here, the results that are shown are students who rated it as poor behavior. Take a look on the left. Those percentages are very low for all categories, which is great to see. For the most part, we see very good behavior from everyone here at Sierra in these areas. But of course, there are exceptions, and there are some people who are not doing what they're supposed to in these areas. And so if you take a look, hallway and bus stand out as 2 areas that we can really help to improve on. So, here are a few testimonials from Sierra students about what they think about behavior in these areas and what they think we can do to help improve behavior in these areas for this second semester. On the bus.
I see lots of kids getting out of their seats when the bus is moving, and I see lots of screaming and yelling, and it's a distraction to the bus driver.
Well, there's a lot of yelling on the bus and a lot of people being mean to people on the bus.
I think that the biggest problem is people aren't being very nice to each other, and they're disrespecting each other and not keeping their hands on their own property.
On the bus, I think kids don't respect the others and don't keep their hands to themselves.
In this area.
We can just have kids just be nice to each other and keep their hands on their own stuff.
Being quiet and not getting in people's way when they're getting off the bus and picking up after yourself, not eating, and making sure you're quiet so the bus driver can concentrate on what he or she is doing.
I think kids could possibly sit in their seats, or I think the bus driver could have more control over the kids and rules for what they can do.
Well, maybe keeping your voices down and watching your temper.
Kids could be nicer to other kids and just be more aware of them, and
Improving.
I see lots of pushing for no reason and just lots of people yelling for no reason. Especially in the 8th grade hallway, it gets really crowded and there's lots of kids moving in between classes right there, so it gets really crowded, and when people push and stop to talk to their friends in the hallway, it just gets really crowded and busy.
I see a lot of pushing in the hallway and a lot of people just being mean to their friends, either just joking around or just being mean in general.
People are pushing their friends and just other people in general around, for one, just to have as a joke, and 2, to get to their class on time.
in the hallway, kids don't keep their hands to themselves and go just mess with other kids.
In the hallway, what happens is usually, let's say I'm going to class, the hallways are so packed. I mean, there's kids pushing each other over, there's people all grouped up in one area, and it's just so crowded.
I think that since it's so crowded, people are pushing each other and just not being very nice overall.
Try to stay on the right side of the hallway so that there's kind of 2 lanes that you can use.
As I said before, watch their temper, or they could just not push people, because some people could take it the wrong way.
I think one of the hallways is monitored very well by teachers, and I think that hallway could use more help, because I see none of that stuff happening when teachers are around, but when they aren't, it's happening.
I think teachers could stand outside in the halls just by their classroom during passing period, just to watch the kids.
I'm thinking either columns or some type of arrangement in the hallway, so there's one half of the hallway that's going this way, another half going that way, so no one's pushing each other over. And we probably need to stop all the people gathering, maybe gather somewhere where there's not a lot of action going on, not a lot of people walking.
These answers did a very good job of reflecting the more popular answers that we got from all the students on our survey in the fall. First of all, we do already have teachers out in the hallway. I know that was brought up a few times, which we really appreciate from our teachers, help monitor out there. If there is a particular area where you're seeing some more problems, make sure you let a teacher know so that they can keep an eye out for that area and make sure that the problem gets resolved. From the survey for the bus, without question, the top 2 responses that we saw were to stay in your seat and to keep the noise down. As you can see here, it's the main response we got was that it's a distraction to the bus driver, and it's kind of annoying to the kids sitting around them. So keep in mind the bus driver has a very important job to do, keeping everyone safe. And they can't do it if they're constantly looking in the mirror and having to address kids who are being too loud or up and moving around. The top responses that we got for behavior in the hallway, so you can see number 1, stopping in the middle of the hallway is certainly one that came up over and over again. Traffic tends to move just fine through the hallway for the most part, even though it is crowded, but when people stop to talk to their friends in the middle, it can be a problem. So if you need to talk to your friends, first of all, try to do it at appropriate times, before or after school, at lunch, those sort of things. But if you want to say hi, try to do it off to the side, make sure everyone else can get by. Second one, I like the idea of creating lanes. That came up a lot. So think of it like a road. Stay on the right hand side, and that way the same direction will be going on each side, and there will be a lot less collision between the 2 sides. And then teachers out in the hallway again. We talked about that earlier. Teachers are out, and if you see a particular problem, make sure to let them know so they can keep an eye out for it. So for the last part of this lesson, there are just a few other things that we need to cover that were not in any of the interviews or any of the surveys that we took earlier in this year, but they're very important nonetheless. The first one is proper use of technology. This is an issue that unfortunately your generation has to deal with to a degree that none of us teachers really had to. When we were going to school, most of us didn't have cell phones or Facebook or anything like that, and it was a lot easier not to get in trouble in this area. This is a nice benefit that you have in your generation, but also it's a big responsibility, and it is something that can get you into trouble. So a few things, of course, first of all, just be nice, be a good person. Don't post or send anything that you wouldn't say to someone in person. If you're not willing to say it to their face, there's no reason you should be flinging it out there into the internet for everyone else to see. That's mean, and it certainly can be considered bullying. And keep in mind, once it's sent out, it can't be brought back, and actually it can be used as evidence against you. The next thing is to just make sure to keep your school clean. This school belongs to everyone, and that includes all students as well. It doesn't belong to your teachers or principal, superintendent. It belongs to all of us. So you wouldn't go throw trash around your own bedroom, hopefully not, and it's something that you shouldn't do here at school. Make sure to take pride in your school, to respect your school, and to keep it clean. Nothing makes me happier than when I go down the hallway and I see someone pick up trash that wasn't theirs, but they're doing it because it's the right thing to do. So again, keep your school clean, and that certainly applies to the lunchroom. There have been some days where we see a lot of trash left on the table, and that's just disrespectful to not only the school itself, to the building, but to the people who have to come clean it up. Just a reminder that we do have lunchroom cleanup to wipe down the tables and sweep the floors, but it's not their job to pick up after you. So make sure that you're picking up your own trash from your own table, and again, take pride in your school, take pride in your table, take pride in everything you do here during your day at Sierra. The next thing that we'd like to see from all Sierra students is for each of you to focus on your academics. Everyone has a job to do, and as a student, your job is to be a student and to succeed, to learn more, and to build the skills that you need for the next grade, the next level, for college, work, whatever you foresee being in your future. You got to start working on those things right now. Make sure that you don't accept any less than your absolute best. If you're capable of getting a B, don't be settled with a C. If you're capable of getting an A, get an A. Again, middle school is a great opportunity for you to practice and build the skills that you're going to need for those next levels. So take advantage of this time. It's going to make the transition to those next levels a whole lot easier. I'm sure that most of you are aware that the ability and the power that the students have here is incredible. There are so many more students than adults in this building, and so each of you have the power to help us, to make sure that we have a school that's full of respectful students and good people who work hard. One thing I want you all to do is to look after each other, encourage each other to do what's right here at school and at home as well. We want to make sure that we're all building towards something, improving every day, and that gets a whole lot easier when you've got a group around you who's trying to do the same thing and who's pulling you along, pushing you ahead, however you want to look at it, and that includes mental health. If you are having a tough time with school, with homework, anything like that, or with another person, try to seek out your trusted adult. I know we asked you all to identify who that was earlier in the year, and that was because we want everyone here to have someone to go to when you need some support, because we all need support during tough days, tough weeks, tough months, and we want to make sure that you have somewhere to go for that. And to wrap things up, just to be very clear, I know we talked about a lot of different things, but when it comes down to it, to be successful at middle school and whatever level we're talking about after this, it's not as complicated as some people make it out to be. If you do two things, you're going to be successful. Those two things, you need to be able to work hard, and you need to be able to be a good person. If you can work hard and be a good person, good things are going to follow you, and that's just how it works. Ask any adult, your parents, teachers, anyone, if they can identify someone who does those two things, you're going to be looking at a very successful person. So thank you all for your hard work here at Sierra. We're hoping that you're going to keep growing, learning more, and making us proud as you go on to those other levels that we talk about.